Listen closely. Truly listen. What you are about to hear is not meant to please you, nor is it meant to comfort you. It is an honest call, almost an intimate one, for a profound shift within yourself. If these words have reached you, it was not by chance. It happened because, deep down, you have already realized that the structure of your current life can no longer sustain all that you dream of, all that you desire, and all that you know you were born to live. Napoleon Hill once said something simple, yet harsh. Success is not something you desperately chase. It is the consequence of the person you become every single day. And that requires responsibility. Look with sincerity at the last years of your life. Observe the patterns. The same struggles repeating. The same fears holding you back. The same small concessions you accept just to stay within your comfort zone. The world is not conspiring against you. It is your foundation that needs to be strengthened. It hurts to admit, but the truth sets you free. The current version of you did the best it could with the mindset, the habits, and the beliefs it held. But that version has reached its limit. For something new to be born, something old must be left behind. This is not about self-hatred. It is about having the courage to evolve. Some parts of you have served their purpose, and now they need to rest. When you let go of the excuses, the silence that remains can be frightening. But that emptiness is not a loss. It is space. Space for clarity, for strength, for firmer decisions, and for a version of yourself that does not ask for permission to grow. It is there, in that space, that greatness begins to be built. Subscribe to this channel to strengthen your mindset. Every single day, leave a like if you are making the commitment to live with more awareness. Starting today. Now, click the link I have left in the first comment below to access the 1-minute prayer and activate your purpose. The first step toward any true reconstruction does not begin with visible tools, but with something internal and intense. The fire. Before the brick comes the flame. Napoleon Hill called this a burning desire. It is not a weak wish, nor a fleeting thought that comes and goes. It is a profound decision, almost impossible to ignore, that burns inside you and accepts no negotiation. It is when you stop saying, "I want," and start affirming, "I will." Many people do not fail for lack of talent, faith, or opportunity. They fail because they keep a door open to the past. They say they will change, but they keep a safe refuge. just in case the change hurts too much. If it doesn't work, I'll go back. Back to the job that drains the soul. Back to the habits that numb the mind. Back to old versions of themselves. And here is the hard, but liberating truth. As long as a comfortable exit exists, the transformation will never be complete. When you eliminate the escape routes, something powerful happens inside you. The mind stops negotiating and starts creating. Fear loses its grip, because now there is commitment. It is not about recklessness. It is about alignment. It is about deciding with clarity who you choose to be, even before you see the results. Life responds to a firm decision. Nature does not accept prolonged indecision. When you choose with conviction, opportunities arise. People appear. Ideas connect. Not by magic, but because your energy, focus, and actions move in sync. This is transmutation, transforming desire into direction, and direction into reality. It all begins when you decide. There is no going back. Now that the ground has been cleared, and the fire has been lit, it is time to talk about what truly sustains any great construction. The invisible material. In the philosophy of Napoleon Hill, this material is not made of concrete or steel, but of thoughts charged with intention. Thoughts repeated, felt, and accepted, until they become part of who you are. There is a truth that few people face. You are not who you consciously think you are. You are the direct result of what your subconscious believes to be true. For years, perhaps decades, that subconscious has been fed by painful experiences, unhealed failures, the opinions of others, and voices that normalize mediocrity. Without realizing it, you allowed others to write the script of your identity. But that cycle can end. Now, Hill called it autosuggestion. The process by which you take control of this internal programming. It is a voluntary act, daily and intentional. It is not about repeating empty phrases, but about choosing thoughts that build, instead of corrode. Your subconscious does not question. It does not judge. And it does not filter. It simply accepts and executes. Think of it as extremely fertile soil. If you plant doubt, it grows. If you plant fear, it strengthens. But if you plant vision, courage, and purpose, those seeds will also expand. The soil makes no distinction between a weed and a mighty oak. The difference lies in the choice of the seed. From today on, every thought you allow to enter becomes a brick, choose with awareness what you are building. Because, silently, it is shaping who you will become. Napoleon Hill defined faith not as a passive hope, but as a state of mind, one that can be induced or created through affirmation, or repeated instructions to the subconscious. When you rebuild yourself, you must act as if the structure is already complete. You are not trying to be successful. You are occupying the space that your consciousness has already claimed. For this reconstruction to be solid, you must apply Hill's self-confidence formula. First, demand continuous action from yourself. Recognize that you have the ability to achieve your purpose. Promise yourself, here and now, that you will never give up on this action. Second, master your thoughts. Understand that the dominant thoughts of your mind will eventually reproduce themselves in external, physical action. Dedicate 30 minutes every day to visualizing the person you intend to become. Third, use the principle of autosuggestion. Set aside 10 minutes daily to demand the development of self-confidence from within. Do not ask the world for permission. Give an order to your own mind. Many believe that knowledge is power. But Napoleon Hill made an essential correction to that idea. To him, knowledge by itself transforms nothing. It is only raw power, lying dormant. It only becomes a real force when it is organized into clear plans, transformed into conscious action, and directed toward a definite objective. Without this, an excess of information only confuses, distracts, and creates a false sense of progress. The reconstruction of your new self demands a break from the automatic consumption of empty content. Generic information is abundant, cheap, and often useless. What truly changes a life is specialized knowledge, the kind you learn with intention and apply with discipline. This knowledge comes to life when it passes through your imagination, the true laboratory where all great human achievements began. Imagination is not a childhood fantasy. It is a tool of mental engineering. Hill described two main ways to use it. Synthetic imagination is when you reorganize existing ideas, connecting experiences, lessons, and old concepts to create something new. This is how strategies, businesses, and practical solutions are born. But creative imagination goes beyond logical reasoning. It is the point where the human mind connects with something greater, where profound insights, original ideas, and visions capable of altering entire destinies emerge. The inevitable question is, how have you been using this tool to build bridges toward the future? or to dig holes that reinforce fear and doubt, to visualize achievements, or to mentally rehearse failure before even trying. The architect who rebuilds themselves sees the finished building long before touching the first brick. Prepare yourself, because the next step of this journey will not be comfortable. It will require choices. It will be necessary to decide who will have access to your new interior construction. We will speak of the mastermind and the conscious pruning of connections that drain your energy, limit your vision, and keep you pinned to the ground. When you were born to rise, no true reconstruction happens in isolation. The man who tries to build an empire alone ends up crushed by the limits of his own vision, his own strength, and his own experience. That is why Napoleon Hill introduced the concept of the mastermind, the coordinated union of knowledge, energy, and effort, in a spirit of harmony, between two or more people committed to a definite purpose. Hill observed that when two minds align in a sincere way, something greater is born from that union. A third invisible force emerges. A third mind that carries the sum of the potential, creativity, and clarity of everyone involved. This force is not mystical. It is strategic. It expands perspectives, accelerates decisions, and strengthens action. Now, conduct an honest analysis of your surroundings. Who is participating in your construction today? If you surround yourself with people who complain constantly, feed doubts, and normalize stagnation, you are weakening the very structure you are trying to raise. The psychology of success is direct. You become the average of the minds you live with. Every reconstruction requires pruning. It is not cruelty. It is maturity. You cannot build a new interior temple while allowing toxic voices to define your limits. The environment shapes your destiny. If the people around you do not challenge you to grow, they are silently encouraging you to stay the same. Apply the law of harmony. Seek allies who possess vision, discipline, and courage. A true mastermind is not a space for complaining, but a strategic counsel to transform goals into achievements. Desire is the fuel that starts the journey, but it is organized planning that determines if you will reach the right destination. Napoleon Hill warned that most people do not fail for lack of effort, but because they confuse movement with progress. Being busy does not mean you are moving forward. Running every day without a clear direction only accelerates your arrival at the wrong place. Rebuilding yourself requires structure, method, and intention. Loose dreams floating in the air cannot sustain themselves. This is why Hill insisted on something simple and powerful. Plans must be written down. A plan that does not leave the mind and touch the paper is just a vague idea, easily sabotaged by fear, fatigue, or doubt. When you write it down, you take ownership. You transform intention into a roadmap. It is vital to understand that the first plan will rarely be perfect. And that is not a problem. If the plan fails, you have not failed. You have simply discovered a way that did not work. Adjust. Rewrite. Change the approach. If the second plan also fails to deliver results, refine it again. Intelligent persistence does not insist on the error. It evolves the strategy. Temporary defeats are part of the construction process. They do not define who you are. They only reveal what needs to be improved. Every obstacle offers information, and every piece of information can be converted into an advantage. When used with clarity, true failure happens when you give up on planning. When you accept improvising your own life and call it destiny. The one who rebuilds themselves understands that discipline does not kill freedom. It directs it. With firm desire, clear plans, and constant adjustments, progress stops being accidental and becomes inevitable. Napoleon Hill's analysis of over 25,000 men and women revealed a striking truth. The lack of decision, procrastination, is the greatest enemy of achievement. Those who accumulate great fortunes, and those who transform their lives, share a specific habit. They take decisions quickly, and they change them very slowly, if they change them at all. People who fail do the exact opposite. They take decisions very slowly, and they change them at every wind of criticism. Indecision is the thief of opportunity. When you decide to rebuild yourself, do not ask for your neighbor's opinion. Do not wait for your family's approval. The decision is your detonator. Once pressed, there is no going back. We have reached the point where most people retreat. Persistence. Napoleon Hill stated that persistence is to the character of man what carbon is to steel. Without it, you are nothing more than a collection of good intentions. The reconstruction of the self will face sabotage. Your old self will try to whisper that the effort is too great. The world will try to test your foundation with storms of criticism. But understand this. A lack of persistence is a weakness that can be cured by the power of purpose. Persistence is a state of mind, and as such, it can be cultivated. It is based on the principle of transmutation. Hill spoke of the transmutation of energy, the ability to take impulses of fear, anger, or desire, and convert them into an unshakable creative force. Do not waste your energy on trivial distractions. Take the frustration of your current life, and transmute it into fuel for your new structure. Success is often just one step beyond the point where defeat seems inevitable. As the walls of your new self rise, you begin to access what Hill called the sixth sense. This is the apex of the philosophy of success. It is the gateway to infinite intelligence. When you clear the mental debris, organize your plans, and act with persistence, your mind becomes a receiver for ideas that seem to come from beyond. You begin to foresee dangers and recognize opportunities that were once invisible. Your new building is now complete. Not just with the bricks of habits, but with the light of wisdom. The time for listening has ended. The time for building has begun. Napoleon Hill said, "Do not wait. The time will never be just right." You are now standing before the mirror of your consciousness. The old self has been demolished. The blueprint is in your hands. Infinite intelligence is at your disposal. In the next 24 hours, you must perform an act of faith. First, write down your 10 main goals as if they were already real. Second, cut one tie that drains your energy. Third, make one decision that you have been delaying out of fear. Reconstruction is not an event. It is a continuous process of becoming. Leave this audio and enter your workshop. The world does not need more people who dream. The world needs architects who build. Subscribe to this channel to master your mindset every single day. Leave a like if you commit to stepping out of autopilot today. And click the link in the first comment below to access the 1-minute prayer and activate your purpose for 2026. Go and achieve. Your new destiny awaits you.